friends, this is Sade, your Christian life coach and a recovering people pleaser. And today I am doing this video with the first in a series of the signs that you are a people pleaser. The first sign is that you do not like conflict. Most people don't want to get into a street fight when they step out of, their front doors, or get into a conflict with their spouse or with their children. But if you're a people pleaser, it goes beyond that. You will do anything to avoid conflict with other human beings. That's not a good place to be. That's not a good place to be at all. So a people pleaser, and an example would be, people pleaser suspects that your child is, say, stealing. Okay, so your child has these toys and you're like, hey, where'd you get that? Oh, my friend gave it to me. And you're like, okay, cool. But you're like, it looks like an expensive toy. I don't think another kid would give you that toy. But a people pleaser a normal person at that point would be like, I don't know about that. Let's talk to this kid and figure out where this toy came from. A people pleaser doesn't want even that momentary conflict that comes with challenging her child about where that toy came from. Just that tiny little, hey, I don't believe what you just said and I want to look into it. That conflict will cause a people pleaser to cringe. And so what a people pleaser will do is ignore the signs that something is going wrong. So her child is stealing and then next day comes up with another toy. Okay, you have two of those very expensive phones. Where did you get that? Oh, this other friend gave it to me. Actually, he sold it to me for $3. It's just, you're like, oh, okay, people are selling you their phones for $3. Okay, well, I guess maybe you're a good negotiator. And it goes on and on. A people pleaser will wait until the cops show up at the door knocking and saying, hey, your son, hoisted a car. And at that point, he or she has no choice but to face up to what's been going on. But a people pleaser will let things slide and let things slide and let things slide instead of confronting what appears to be the wrong thing right away. Another way that this can show up is when a people pleaser doesn't like something. Okay, so somebody brings you something or does something for you, and you're just like, oh, I love it so much. Instead of saying, oh, well, could we change it? Or, just not being real, not being authentic because of the fear of conflict. And what happens with people pleasers is when you're afraid of conflict and you're afraid of saying what you really think, even though it might not be what other people want you to think, even though other people might disagree with you, or even if other people might get angry with you, when you don't say, what you think and you don't come out and deal with things, situations get bigger and bigger and bigger. Also, there's a certain group of people who are emotional manipulators. They manipulate other people. And if a manipulator senses that you as a people pleaser will do anything to avoid conflict, they have you. Because what will happen is they will impose what they want on you, knowing that you will back off. You will agree. You will do what they want because you're afraid of having conflict with them. So they will threaten you with a subtle threat of conflict or a subtle threat of abandonment or intense emotion that will come if you don't do what they want or if you do what they don't want you to do. And so you'll hear people talk about, that makes me angry, or you're making me angry, and things like that. And so people pleasers really put themselves in a really vulnerable position for emotional manipulators and abuse if you are so terrified and petrified of conflict that you will do anything to avoid it. And so that's a really, really bad trait in the sense that it can put you in a very dangerous situation. And it can cause you to numb your feelings and numb your person to be manipulated by other people because you don't want to face up to a conflict that might be necessary. I've forgotten who said this quote, but that, and I'll find it because it's in one of the books I'm currently reading, that neurosis is the avoidance of legitimate suffering. So it is legitimate to suffer going through conflict with someone to iron something out. But as people pleasers, we try to avoid that conflict. We try to avoid that legitimate suffering, and that makes us neurotic. We start acting weird. We withdraw. We won't say what we're really thinking. We'll do weird things. We'll do what other people want. We'll cave into peer pressure because we don't want to come up against other people and really let them know what we're thinking. So that's the first sign that you're a people pleaser. You are afraid of conflict. And it might not show on the outside. You might appear to be a confident person, but on the inside, start trying to be self-aware. Check yourself. Okay, when I'm in this conversation or that conversation, am I afraid? Am I scared to say what I really want because I'm afraid of conflict? And you'll begin to be able to tell whether or not you're a people pleaser. Thanks for joining me. See you on the next video.